The twin suns of Varelia Prime burned red across the sky. The ground trembled as explosions echoed through the mountain valleys. Shattered crystal towers reflected light from fire and smoke. The once peaceful Varelian capital was now a war zone. Captain Aaron Holt of the United Terran Forces sprinted across the debris-covered street, his armor coated with ash and dirt. His squad had been ordered to help evacuate civilians after a surprise invasion by a rival empire known as the Karn Dominion. What was supposed to be a peacekeeping mission had turned into chaos. "Captain, the east sector's falling," shouted Sergeant Vega through the comm. "Enemy drones are swarming the Palace District." Aaron stopped behind a broken wall, breathing hard. He looked around at the alien civilians running in panic. Tall, silver-skinned Varelians with glowing blue markings across their faces. They looked terrified, clutching their children and dragging wounded elders through the smoke. He could hear distant plasma fire and the hum of the Karn drones flying low. The sound of fear was everywhere. "Get the civilians to the west tunnels," Aaron ordered. "We hold the line here until they're clear." His team nodded and moved out. Aaron raised his rifle and scanned the skies. Then his comm crackled again. "Captain, the royal convoy is trapped near the Hall of Light." Vega's voice was tense. "They're pinned by enemy fire." Aaron frowned. The Hall of Light. That was the royal complex. The Varelian royal family. He hesitated only for a moment before saying, "Mark the location." "I'm heading there," he ran. The Hall of Light was a shattered ruin. Its once glass-like walls had melted from plasma fire. Bodies of Varelian guards lay scattered among fallen pillars. Aaron pushed through the smoke, coughing as sparks fell around him. Then he saw them. A small group of Varelians crouched behind a wrecked transport. At the center was a young woman in royal blue armor, a silver crest on her chest. She was helping a wounded guard when a Karn drone dived toward them, its weapons charging. Aaron didn't think. He sprinted forward, firing bursts from his rifle. The drone exploded mid-air and shrapnel scattered across the stones. The young woman turned sharply, eyes wide in shock. Her voice trembled. "You're human?" "Yeah," Aaron said, reloading. "Captain Holt, United Terran Forces." "You need to move now." Another explosion ripped through the courtyard. Two more drones appeared, their red lights locking onto the princess's group. Aaron shouted, "Get down," and dove in front, taking the brunt of the blast. His armor cracked, his side burned, but he stayed standing long enough to fire again, destroying both drones. The royal guards were stunned. The human, smaller and rougher than their soldiers, had stood against drones alone. The young woman stepped closer, her silver blue eyes filled with disbelief. "You saved us," she said softly. "Not yet," Aaron grunted. "We're still surrounded." He looked up toward the distant ridge. More drones were coming. The Karn Dominion wasn't stopping. Their goal was clear: capture or kill the Varelian royalty. Aaron quickly scanned the wrecked plaza. "Is there a safe route out of here?" One guard, badly hurt, pointed to a collapsed passage. "There's an escape tunnel beneath the statue of the First Queen. But it's sealed by debris." Aaron nodded. "Then we clear it." He grabbed a piece of metal pipe and started levering away broken stones. The Varelians stared as the human worked like a machine, ignoring the pain in his bleeding side. One of them tried to help but was too weak. The young woman joined him, lifting debris with trembling hands. "You're hurt," she said. "Why are you helping us?" Aaron gave a tired grin. "Because you're civilians under fire. Doesn't matter what planet we're on." She didn't reply, but her expression softened. There was something unfamiliar about this human. Something fierce and kind at the same time. Minutes later, they managed to open the tunnel. Aaron motioned to the guards. "Get her through. I'll cover the rear." The princess hesitated. "You must come with us." "Not yet," Aaron said. "Go." She wanted to protest, but he turned back toward the plaza. Dozens of Karn drones were landing now, their metal legs clicking against the marble. Plasma bolts streaked the air. Aaron took cover and began firing, counting his shots. Each round found its mark. He moved with precision, every motion trained and practiced. He fought alone, and it felt like time slowed around him. When his rifle finally clicked empty, he drew his sidearm and kept firing. When that ran dry, he pulled a fallen Varelian weapon and used it, adapting instantly. The princess, watching from the tunnel entrance, saw him standing in the flames, a human soldier surrounded. Refusing to fall, one drone launched a rocket. Aaron threw himself over a fallen guard, taking the hit on his armor. The blast threw him across the ground. His vision blurred, blood running down his face. He could barely hear anymore, only the sound of distant shouting and the princess's voice calling his name. She ran to him despite her guards trying to stop her. Kneeling beside him, she pressed her glowing hands against his wound, trying to help. "Stay still. You'll die if you move." Aaron coughed, half laughing. "I've had worse," her eyes filled with tears. "Why? Why would you protect me?" He looked at her, tired but calm. "Because you needed it. That's all that matters." The sound of engines filled the air. Human dropships, reinforcements, finally broke through the clouds. Terran Marines descended, gunning down the remaining drones. The battle began to turn. The princess looked up, relief washing over her. Then she looked back at Aaron. He was slipping into unconsciousness. "Stay with me," she said, shaking him gently. "Don't close your eyes." He tried to answer but couldn't. His vision dimmed until all he saw was light, her face glowing against the fire. The next thing he knew, he was floating, not falling, not burning, just drifting into silence. Hours later, the battle was over. The Karn Dominion had retreated. The wounded were being taken to field hospitals. The Varelian palace stood in ruins, but the princess was alive. In the recovery bay, she stood beside the human who had saved her. Aaron lay unconscious, surrounded by human and Varelian medics. Tubes and glowing healing crystals covered his body. His pulse was weak but steady. One of the Varelian generals approached the princess. "Your Highness, the Queen demands your report. She must know how you survived." The princess looked down at Aaron. "Tell her it was because of him," she said softly, "a human soldier who didn't even know my name." When the general told the Queen what had happened, how a Terran soldier had risked his life to protect her daughter, Queen Seraphina fell silent. For a long moment she said nothing. Then she gave an order that would change everything. "Keep the human alive," she said. "He saved royal blood. By our law, he now belongs to the crown. He does not leave this world." The general bowed. "Yes, Your Majesty." Far away in the quiet of the recovery chamber, the princess sat beside Aaron's bed. She reached out and touched his hand gently. "You saved my life, human," she whispered. "And now, you may never be free again." Outside, the twin suns of Virelia rose once more, over a planet that would never forget the human who bled for its princess. A soft hum filled the air. It was not the sound of machines, but of energy flowing through crystal walls. Captain Aaron Holt slowly opened his eyes. He felt lightheaded, floating between dreams and reality. The ceiling above him glowed like living glass, and thin streams of blue light moved through it like veins. He tried to move his arm, but winced in pain. His body felt heavy, wrapped in strange bands that shimmered faintly. Then he noticed the smell, clean, sweet, like the scent of rain. He was lying on a healing bed, not made of metal but of some organic crystal that pulsed gently with warmth. "You're awake," a calm voice said. Aaron turned his head. Standing beside him was a Varelian healer, tall with pale blue markings that glowed along her neck and arms. She held a round crystal that emitted soft waves of light. "Do not move too fast," she said. "Your wounds are not fully closed." Aaron blinked. "How long have I been out?" 2 solar cycles," she replied. 2 Varelian days, almost 3 Earth days. "You were near death when they brought you in. The princess herself refused to leave your side." Aaron frowned slightly. "Princess Elenia, is she safe?" The healer gave a small smile. "Because of you, yes. The Queen knows of your actions." Her expression turned serious. "She has ordered your presence once you are able to walk." Aaron sighed softly. His body still ached, but he nodded. "Then I'll be ready." Later that day, 2 Varelian guards escorted him through a long hallway of the royal palace. The architecture was unlike anything human. Towering arches made of translucent stone, rivers of light flowing through the floors, and the faint sound of chimes in the air. Everywhere Aaron looked, Varelians stared. Some bowed their heads respectfully. Others whispered behind their hands, their glowing eyes following him. He could hear bits of their voices. "That's him, the human soldier. He bled for the princess. Why would a death worlder risk his life for us?" Aaron ignored the whispers and kept walking. His human boots echoed on the crystal floor, sounding out of place in this alien beauty. Finally, the guards stopped at the massive doors of the throne chamber. One of them spoke softly. "The queen awaits you. Do not speak until she addresses you." Aaron nodded and entered. The throne room was breathtaking. The air shimmered with faint blue mist. At the center stood a wide dais of shining crystal, and upon it sat Queen Seraphina, ruler of Verelia Prime. She wore armor of light, elegant but strong, her eyes glowing brighter than the others. Her presence was calm yet powerful, like a storm that chose not to rage. Beside her stood Princess Elenya, dressed in a flowing silver robe. Her expression brightened as soon as she saw him. Aaron stopped several meters away and bowed slightly. "Your Majesty," Queen Seraphina studied him in silence. Her gaze was sharp, weighing every inch of the human before her. "You are Captain Aaron Holt of the United Terran Forces," she said slowly. "The one who bled for my daughter." "Yes, ma'am," Aaron replied respectfully. "I only did my duty." The Queen's lips curved slightly, not in a smile but in curiosity. "Duty? You fought until your body failed for a princess not of your world. My soldiers said you shielded her with your own life. Do humans always fight so recklessly?" Aaron met her gaze steadily. "Sometimes, when the cost is worth it." The Queen leaned back, her golden eyes narrowing. "Interesting." There was a pause, heavy and silent. Then she said the words that changed everything. "By Verelian royal law, you are bound to the crown. You will remain on Verelia until I decree otherwise." Aaron frowned. "Bound? With respect, Your Majesty. I only came to protect civilians. High Command expects me back." "You saved royal blood," the Queen said firmly. "Our law is clear. You are now under royal protections and service. You cannot leave." Aaron clenched his jaw. "With all respect, I didn't ask for reward or service. I just did what was right." The Queen's expression didn't change. "And I did what is right by my law." For a moment, silence filled the hall. The princess shifted uncomfortably. "Mother, please," she said softly. "He should be free. He has done nothing wrong." The Queen turned her gaze toward her daughter. "He is free and within our walls. He will live with honor as a guest of the crown. But he cannot depart this world." Aaron looked at Elenya, who seemed troubled but powerless. He could see her struggle between obedience and gratitude. Queen Seraphina rose from her throne and walked down the steps toward him. She stopped only a few feet away. Up close, Aaron could see the intricate silver patterns on her skin, glowing faintly like living circuits. "You humans are strange," she said quietly. "You come from a world of danger, a place the Council calls a death world. And yet you fight not for conquest but for others. Tell me, Captain, why?" Aaron met her gaze. "Because it's the right thing to do. You don't need to be from the same world to know when someone needs help." The Queen studied him for a long time. Then she turned to her guards. "Assign him quarters in the inner palace. He will be trained in our customs and act as the princess's protector. Let no harm come to him and let him cause no harm." "Yes, Your Majesty," the guards replied in unison. Aaron felt the weight of her decision settle on him. He wanted to protest, but the look in the Queen's eyes made him stop. There was no cruelty there, only unbending authority. As he was led away, Elenya watched him go. Her heart felt heavy, knowing the man who saved her life was now her mother's unwilling guest. Days turned into weeks. Aaron's wounds healed under the care of Verelian medicine. His room overlooked the shining gardens of the palace, where blue crystal flowers bloomed under twin suns. It was peaceful, almost too peaceful. He was free to walk the gardens, but guards followed wherever he went. He knew he was not truly free. Sometimes Princess Elenya visited him. She brought him Verelian food, light, glowing fruits that tasted like sweet wind, and asked questions about Earth. "Your world sounds wild," she said one day as they sat beneath a crystal tree. "Storms, oceans, animals that hunt one another." "It must be terrifying," Aaron smiled faintly. "It's dangerous, yes, but it's beautiful too. We learn to survive together. That's how we grow strong." Elenya tilted her head. "That must be why you fight the way you do." He shrugged. "Maybe. Where I come from, you protect what matters, and even when it hurts." The princess looked down, her voice soft. "You protected me. My people will never forget that." Aaron gave a small nod. "I didn't do it for memory. I did it because no one else was close enough to help. But not everyone in the palace was pleased with the human's presence. Some nobles whispered that the Queen's mercy was foolish. Others feared that the human might be a spy for the Terran military. One night Aaron overheard two Verelian guards speaking near his door. "The Queen honors him," But he's dangerous, one said. He bled for the princess, the other replied. That makes him both honored and feared. Aaron sighed quietly. He didn't want to be a symbol. He just wanted to go home. A week later, the queen summoned him again. This time her tone was different, thoughtful, almost cautious. You have become the talk of my court, she said. Half the nobles wish you gone. The other half want to make you commander of my guard. Aaron gave a small, dry smile. Sounds like I'm a problem either way. The queen studied him again, her voice lowering. You are a mystery. My people believe strength is born from tradition, but you, human, your strength comes from something else, something unpredictable. I just do what I think is right, Aaron replied simply. Perhaps that is why you frighten them, she said. And perhaps why I cannot let you leave. Aaron wanted to argue, but he saw the faint shadow of emotion in her eyes. Worry, perhaps even fear. The queen wasn't cruel. She was cautious, protecting her daughter, her people, her world. He bowed his head slightly. Then I'll follow your rules, your majesty. For now, the queen gave a slow nod. That is wise. In time, perhaps, you will understand why I made this choice. That night, as Aaron looked out from his window at the shining city below, he felt both grateful and trapped. He had saved a life, but lost his own freedom. Far across the palace, Princess Elenya stood on her balcony staring at the same stars. She whispered softly, You should have been free, but my mother will never let you go. And above them both, unseen and silent, the queen watched from the highest tower. Her thoughts were calm but uncertain. The human had risked his life for her daughter. And something deep inside her warned that this human would change the fate of Viralia forever. The palace of Viralia Prime was quiet that morning, but Aaron sensed unease. Even as he walked through the crystal corridors, the soft hum of energy and the gentle glow of the walls felt tense. Something was off. Whispers floated around corners, and guards' eyes followed him more closely than usual. Princess Elenya met him near the central garden. Her silver blue eyes were bright, but worry lingered. Captain Holt, she said softly, I've heard rumors. Some of the nobles aren't happy you are here. Aaron gave a small shrug, brushing dust from his uniform. Rumors don't bother me. I just do what needs to be done. Elenya shook her head. It's more than rumors. Some whisper that you are a spy, or that humans are unpredictable and dangerous. Others, they say you shouldn't even be allowed near the palace. They call you a threat to the crown. Aaron stopped walking and looked at her. A threat? He asked, raising an eyebrow. I saved your life, didn't I? And the queen knows it. She nodded, but her expression softened. Yes, but humans are strangers here. Not everyone sees things as she does. Aaron's gaze drifted over the palace gardens, where crystal flowers glowed faintly under the twin suns. Then we'll just have to prove them wrong, he said. Actions speak louder than words. That evening, a warning arrived. The royal guards intercepted a group of armored figures trying to enter the palace grounds. Aaron was called immediately. They tried to breach the east gate, reported Lieutenant Kyer, one of the Queen's trusted officers. We stopped them, but their weapons were advanced. They may be tied to the faction opposing the Queen. Aaron frowned. How many? 8, Kyer replied. They were eliminated, but this may only be the beginning. Aaron's hand went to his side. Though his previous injuries had mostly healed, the memory of bleeding for the princess still burned in his mind. He had survived once, and he would survive again. Princess Elenya appeared, her silver robe fluttering in the evening light. You must be careful, she warned. They will not stop. Aaron gave her a calm smile. Then I won't let them. You focus on safety. That's your role. Her eyes softened. I wish you could leave. But I know my mother will not allow it. Aaron nodded silently, understanding the truth in her words. That night, Aaron patrolled the corridors near the royal quarters. His boots made soft clicking sounds against the crystal floor. The palace was quiet, too quiet. He slowed, listening. A shadow moved near the far end of the hall. He tensed, drawing his weapon. The figure moved closer. 2 more shadows emerged behind it. Aaron didn't hesitate. He fired warning shots that echoed loudly through the chamber. The intruders froze. His aim was precise and his posture steady. You are not welcome here, he said firmly. Leave now or face the consequences. The lead intruder stepped forward, a tall Varelian man in dark armor, one of the Queen's nobles. Captain Holt, he said with a low sneer. You dare stand against the future of Viralia? Aaron's eyes narrowed. I stand for the people, not politics. Step aside. The noble drew a weapon. Aaron moved instantly, firing once. The shot disabled the noble's energy blade. 2 more attackers lunged. Aaron rolled to the side, knocking one down with a swift strike and kicked the other back toward the hall. Within moments, the palace guards arrived. The would-be assassins were restrained, but their intent was clear. Someone inside the palace sought to harm Princess Elenya, and Aaron had stopped them. The queen was informed immediately. She arrived at the scene, her armor glowing faintly with a soft golden light. Her eyes scanned the room, then settled on Aaron. "You fought bravely," she said, her voice calm but firm, "and yet you risk your life once more for my daughter. I see now that you are unlike any human I have heard of. Loyal, relentless, fearless." Aaron straightened. "I only do what is needed to protect life, Your Majesty." The queen turned her gaze to the restrained intruders. "These men plotted against the crown," she said. "They underestimated you. But now I see that the strength of one human can protect more than 100 Varelian guards." Aaron felt a faint pulse of pride but stayed silent. He had no need for praise. Duty was enough. The queen continued. "Your actions have changed the court's opinion, though not all are convinced. Some still fear what they do not understand. That is the way of my people, cautious and careful, but you are a force they cannot ignore." Over the next few days, Aaron became more than a guest in the palace. He trained with the royal guards, learning the ways of Varelian combat. Fast, precise movements using energy and crystal weapons unlike anything he had faced before. Princess Elenya watched closely. She trained beside him, eager to learn, though her movements were elegant and measured unlike Aaron's rough and instinctive style. "You are impressive," she said one afternoon. "Even with our weapons, you adapt quickly." Aaron wiped sweat from his forehead. "Humans survive by adapting. You learn quickly or you don't survive at all." She laughed softly, a sound like wind over crystal fields. "I think my people will never understand you fully, but I do. You fight with honor and you fight for others." Aaron looked at her, a faint smile on his face. That's all anyone should do. But danger still lingered. The court's whispers grew louder. Some nobles grumbled that Aaron's presence was a threat to tradition. Others, impressed by his courage, argued for his permanent role as protector. One night, while walking through the palace gardens, Aaron overheard a conversation. "The queen is foolish," said one noble. "This human is not loyal to Varelia. He serves only himself." "He risked his life for the princess," another whispered. "That makes him more loyal than any of us." Aaron's hand tightened on the railing. He didn't want to be involved in politics, but he realized the truth. His presence had already begun to shift the balance in the court. Not everyone saw him as a hero. Some saw him as a threat. The first real test came quietly under the cover of night. Aaron heard a scream from the princess's quarters. He ran, faster than human muscle should allow, and burst through the doors. 2 masked attackers had slipped past the outer guards. One held a crystal dagger aimed at Elenya. "Stay back!" Aaron shouted. The attackers lunged. He dodged and struck with precise force, disarming one and knocking the other unconscious. Elenya froze, shocked and scared, as Aaron pushed her behind him. "You're safe," he said, panting. "I've got you." Her hands trembled as she reached for him. How do you always arrive in time?" Aaron gave a small shrug. "Luck. And paying attention." When the queen arrived, she found her daughter unharmed and the intruders restrained. Her eyes swept over Aaron, and for the first time, there was a glimmer of something unreadable. Respect, awe, and perhaps worry. "You have proven yourself again," she said quietly. "I underestimated your dedication. You do not fight for glory nor for reward. You fight for what is right." "That is rare," Aaron nodded. "I do what is necessary. Nothing more." The queen's gaze lingered on him. "Perhaps this is why I cannot let you leave. You are not just a soldier. You are a protector. And your loyalty, it is unlike anything I have seen in my people." Elenya looked at the queen, hope in her eyes. "Mother, he only wants to protect, nothing more. Let him stay near us, not as a prisoner, but as an ally." The queen nodded slowly. "We will see, my daughter. Time will tell what path this human walks, and how he changes the fate of Varelia." The palace settled once more, but the shadows in the court remained. Some nobles feared Aaron, others admired him. Princess Elenya could not stop thinking about him, a human so unlike anyone she had ever known. And the queen, she watched him, a puzzle in her own court. a force of courage she could not ignore. Aaron walked the palace corridors that night, feeling the weight of responsibility, the whispers of fear, and the spark of admiration. He knew one thing for certain. He would protect the princess and her people, no matter what dangers remained, and somewhere deep in the halls of the palace, unseen eyes waited, watching, testing, and preparing for the next challenge that would demand every ounce of his courage. The palace of Virelia Prime was no longer quiet. Shadows moved through the corridors, not the quiet whispers of nobles, but real danger. Aaron Holt had trained with the royal guards, learned the palace's hidden paths, and now he could sense tension in every corner. Something big was about to happen. It began with a simple message delivered by a crystal drone. The Queen called a council of trusted officers and Aaron. The scroll glowed with urgency, detailing intercepted communications from the faction that had attacked the princess weeks ago. They were planning a full-scale strike to overthrow the Queen and seize Virelia Prime. Aaron frowned, leaning over the glowing map. "They've been inside the palace before," he said. "They know our weaknesses. This is more than an assassination attempt. They want control." One of the Virelian generals, a tall female with silver markings that shimmered like water, spoke. "We have guards at every post and the perimeter is secure. How do you propose we stop them, human?" Aaron's green eyes narrowed. "We hit them before they hit us. We find their network and we cut them off at the source. If they think they can hide in shadows, they're wrong." The Queen, standing behind him, watched silently. Her gaze was steady, but Aaron could feel her measuring his words, judging his plan. "You will lead a team?" she asked softly. "Yes," Aaron replied simply. "If you want to protect the crown, we need action. Fast." Over the next 2 solar cycles, Aaron worked tirelessly. Using his instincts and human experience, he trained a small squad of elite Virelian guards to move swiftly and strike precisely. Together, they tracked suspicious movements within the palace, hidden chambers, secret messages, and concealed weapons. Princess Elenya followed him quietly at times, fascinated by his strategy. "You see patterns that others miss," she said one evening as they crouched above the lower halls, watching a messenger drone pass. "How do you do that?" Aaron smiled faintly. "Humans survive by noticing the small things. Shadows tell a story if you know how to read them." She nodded slowly. I think my people would never see a human like you before. They only see danger in strangers. But I see courage," Aaron shrugged. "I'm just doing my job." "That's all?" It was during the 3rd night that the attack began. The faction had chosen the darkness to strike, using cloaked ships to land near the palace. Aaron sensed them first. The crystal floors vibrated faintly under the intruder's boots. He raised a hand, signaling the guards. "Positions!" Every Virelian guard moved silently. The shadows moved through the corridors, but Aaron's team was faster. They intercepted the first wave in a narrow hall. Aaron led the charge, his human reflexes allowing him to dodge and strike in ways the aliens were not accustomed to. One attacker lunged at the princess's quarters. Aaron was there in an instant. He blocked the strike with his forearm, taking a glancing blow to his side. Pain flared, but he did not falter. With a swift move, he disarmed the assailant and sent him sprawling. Elenya, safe behind the guards, stared wide-eyed at the human who once again risked himself without hesitation. "You're impossible," she whispered, though relief softened her voice. The battle spread through the palace. Aaron coordinated with the Virelian forces, guiding them through hidden corridors and ambush points. His instincts, honed on Earth and harsh terrains, gave him an advantage. He predicted the attackers' movements before they happened. Despite wounds from the first strike, he continued. Blood streaked his armor, but his eyes were sharp, his aim deadly. One by one, the intruders fell. Even when cornered, Aaron fought with precision. He moved like a whirlwind, striking, dodging, and protecting at the same time. Every attack was calculated. Every movement had purpose. At the final courtyard, the leader of the faction confronted him. A massive Virelian clad in dark armor, wielding a crystal spear charged with plasma energy. "You are brave, human," the leader sneered. "But bravery alone will not save you." Aaron's eyes narrowed. "I don't need to be saved. I protect what matters." The leader attacked with blinding speed. Aaron dodged, rolled, and countered with a strike that shattered the spear. The enemy staggered, and with one final move, Aaron incapacitated him. The courtyard fell silent. The attackers had been defeated. The Queen's palace was safe once more. When the dust settled, the queen arrived at the scene, her long robe brushing the crystal floors. She saw her daughter unharmed and the human soldier standing, bloodied but unbroken at the center of the courtyard. Her golden eyes softened slightly. "You risked your life again," she said quietly. "You have bled for my daughter and my people. I underestimated your loyalty." Aaron nodded. "I do what is needed, Your Majesty." "Nothing more." The princess ran to him, brushing dust and blood from his armor. "Captain Holt." "You could have died," she exclaimed, her voice shaking. Aaron smiled faintly, wincing at the pain in his side. "I'm still here, aren't I? And you're safe. That's what matters." The queen studied him quietly, then finally spoke with an edge of decision. "You have proven yourself beyond any doubt. You are no longer merely a guest. You are a protector, bound by loyalty and honor to my family. And I cannot let you fall, human. Not while I live." Aaron looked at her, stunned by the words. He had expected orders, not acknowledgement. But there was respect there, and a hint of something more. A recognition that went beyond law. Princess Elenya stood beside her mother. "Mother, he deserves freedom, yes. But he also deserves recognition. He's the one who kept us alive." The queen nodded slowly. "Yes, and yet he is human. And humans are unpredictable. That is why he will remain here for now. His place is with us, as long as he chooses to honor it." Aaron felt a strange sense of relief and weight at the same time. He was honored but still bound. His loyalty had become part of the palace, part of the life of Virelia. The next day, Aaron walked through the royal gardens where crystal flowers shimmered in the morning light. The battle had left scars, but the palace stood resilient, much like its people. Princess Elenya joined him. "You didn't have to do it," she said softly. "You could have stayed safe, let the others fight. Why do you always put yourself in danger?" Aaron looked at her, his eyes steady. "Because no one else could do it fast enough. Someone had to act. That's what humans do. We fight when it matters. We protect when it counts." She nodded, her eyes reflecting admiration and something deeper. I think Virelia has never seen anyone like you before." Aaron smiled faintly. "Maybe not. But I didn't come here to be seen. I came here to survive and to protect." They walked in silence, the air between them filled with unspoken understanding. That night, the queen summoned Aaron privately. She did not raise her voice, nor did she make demands. She simply regarded him with a calm intensity. "You have proven your honor," she said, "and your courage. Humans are strange, unpredictable, and yet admirable. I have seen what you can do, and I understand now why the princess values you so highly." Aaron nodded. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what was right." The queen's eyes softened just slightly. "I will not let you leave Virelia, at least not yet." "You are bound by loyalty, yes, but also by trust, and by my recognition of what you have done." Aaron understood. He did not resist. He knew the queen's law, and now he also understood her respect. Outside in the gardens, Princess Elenya whispered softly to herself, watching Aaron walk away. "He may be bound, but his honor will always belong to the people he protects." And so, the palace stood calm once more. The faction's threat had been removed, but the shadow of danger lingered. The queen knew that Aaron Holt, human soldier from Earth, had changed the fate of Virelia Prime, not with laws or titles, but with courage, loyalty, and unshakable honor. The halls whispered of a human who bled for an alien princess, fought for the queen, and would never be forgotten. Aaron, bloodied but proud, continued to stand watch, because for him there was no glory in survival alone, only in protecting those who could not protect themselves. And somewhere, high above in the throne room, the queen watched him, realizing that the human's presence had become more than a duty or a law. It had become part of the heart of Virelia itself. The twin suns of Virelia Prime were setting, casting long shadows across the crystal towers of the palace. Captain Aaron Holt stood on the balcony, overlooking the city. The streets below were alive with light, movement, and the low hum of energy flowing through the crystal floors. He had fought, bled, and survived. The palace had been secure for weeks. The faction that had threatened the queen and Princess Elenya had been crushed, and yet Aaron did not feel relief. There was something heavier pressing on him, the queen's command. He had proven his loyalty and courage, but he was still bound to Virelia by royal law. He could not leave, not yet. Not ever unless the queen decreed it. Princess Elenya joined him quietly, her silver robe fluttering in the wind. She leaned on the railing beside him, her eyes on the horizon. "You've done more than anyone could ask," she said softly. "And yet, you are still bound here. Do you resent us for it?" Aaron shook his head. "No, I don't resent anyone. I came here to protect, not to be free or bound. My choice was always to fight when it matters." She studied him, her expression a mix of admiration and worry. "I fear what the queen will decide. You've risked your life for me, and she might never let you go." Aaron placed a hand on the railing, his gaze steady. "Then I'll do what I've always done. I'll fight when needed, protect when needed, and accept what comes after." Elenya smiled faintly. "You are unlike anyone I have ever met. Humans are strange, but you are extraordinary." That evening, the queen summoned both of them to the throne room. The hall was bathed in soft blue light, and the air hummed with quiet power. Queen Seraphina sat on her crystal throne, her armor glowing faintly with golden energy. Her eyes were fixed on Aaron, and for the first time there was no judgment, only deep thought. "You have proven yourself," she said slowly. "Time and again you have risked your life for my daughter and for Virelia. Your loyalty is undeniable, your courage unmatched." Aaron bowed his head respectfully. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I only did what was right." The queen's gaze shifted to her daughter. "Elenya, you have seen his deeds. You understand the risk he has taken, the life he has offered. And yet you care for him beyond duty, do you not?" The princess hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, mother. He saved my life. He protected me when none could, and I care for him." The queen's golden eyes softened. She studied Aaron again, silent for a moment. "I see now that this human is more than a soldier. He is part of our story, and perhaps part of our future." Aaron felt a strange pulse of tension. He had faced armies, intruders, and assassination attempts, but nothing had made him more aware of uncertainty than the queen's words. "Captain Holt," the queen said finally, "Virelian law binds you to my service, but your actions have earned you more than obligation. They have earned trust, and trust must be honored." Aaron straightened, attentive. "I decree," the queen continued, "that you will remain in Virelia not as a prisoner, but as an honored protector. You will live freely within the palace, train and fight as needed, and choose your path within these walls. Your loyalty has proven itself." Aaron's heart pounded. For weeks he had been trapped by law, bound by obligation, and yet the queen's words felt different. Not command, but recognition. He bowed deeply. "Your Majesty, I will continue to serve as I always have." The queen nodded. "See that you do. And know this. Your place here is secure not by law alone, but by the honor you carry. The heart of Virelia respects courage, loyalty, and sacrifice. You have shown all three." Princess Elenya stepped forward. Her eyes shone with relief and something deeper. "Captain Holt, you are safe. You can stay as long as you wish, and I am glad." Aaron met her gaze. "Thank you," he said quietly. "It means more than I can say." In the following days, life in the palace began to settle into a rhythm. Aaron trained with the royal guard, his skills now unmatched among Virelians. He taught them strategy, adaptation, and reflexes, lessons learned from Earth's harshest battlefields. Princess Elenya joined him often, learning not just combat, but discipline, courage, and resilience. Their bond deepened, quiet and unspoken, yet undeniable. One morning, as they sparred in the crystal courtyard, Elenya stopped, breathing heavily. You make humans seem stronger than I imagined, and braver." Aaron smiled faintly, wiping sweat from his brow. "We survive by necessity, and sometimes we fight for those who cannot defend themselves." She looked at him with admiration and something warmer. "I think you fight because your heart demands it, and that is why my mother cannot let you go." Aaron glanced toward the palace, then back at her. "Perhaps, but I do not regret a single choice." The queen watched from above, quietly observing. She saw the trust, the loyalty, and the courage that Aaron displayed, qualities rare among Virelians and even rarer among humans. She realized something she had not expected. The human's presence had changed more than the court or the palace. It had changed the heart of her daughter, and perhaps the heart of Virelia itself. That evening she summoned Aaron privately. He knelt before her as protocol demanded, though he felt no fear. "You have proven your honor and your loyalty beyond question," she said. "Your actions have safeguarded my daughter, my palace, and my people. You are no longer merely bound by law. You are bound by trust, by choice and recognition." Aaron's eyes met hers. "Your Majesty, I will always serve, not because of law, but because it is right." The Queen's gaze softened almost imperceptibly. "Then know this, you are free to choose your path within these walls. Your courage and loyalty will never be questioned again, and your place here is permanent if you wish it." Aaron bowed his head, a mix of relief and pride washing over him. "Thank you, Your Majesty. I will honor that trust." The next day, Princess Elenia approached him in the palace gardens. The twin suns reflected in her silver-blue eyes, and the soft hum of crystal flowers surrounded them. "You are truly part of Viralia now," she said. "Not by law, but by the Queen's trust. And by your own honor." Aaron nodded. "It seems I am. And I will continue to protect you, and this world, for as long as I am needed." She reached out and placed her hand over his. "You've bled for me, and now you are ours. Not as a prisoner, but as a protector and as a friend. Perhaps more than that." Aaron met her gaze. In that moment he understood the depth of their bond, a connection forged in fire, danger, and trust. He did not speak, for words were unnecessary. The understanding was mutual. The Queen, watching from above, felt a sense of completion. The human who had bled for her daughter was no longer merely a soldier or a guest. He was part of Viralia, a symbol of courage, loyalty, and the unpredictable strength of humanity. Days turned into weeks, and life continued in the palace. The humans and Virelians trained, laughed, and learned from each other. Aaron's presence brought more than protection. It brought hope, respect, and the undeniable proof that courage and loyalty transcended worlds. Even the nobles who had whispered against him learned to respect him. They saw the change in the palace, the trust of the Queen, and the admiration of the princess. Aaron Holt, human soldier, had not just survived. He had earned a place in history. And through it all, the Queen knew one truth above all. The human who had bled for her daughter had become indispensable. Not because of law, not because of obligation, but because he had proven the power of courage, honor, and loyalty. In the quiet of the crystal gardens, Aaron and Princess Elenia stood together, watching the twin suns set. "You saved my life," she said softly, "and as in doing so you saved us all." Aaron placed a hand over hers. "It was my choice," he said, "and I would make it again 1,000 times over." She smiled, her eyes reflecting gratitude, admiration, and something more. "Then stay, Captain Holt, stay with us. Not as a guest, but as one of us." Aaron nodded. "I will, for as long as I am needed." And in that moment, under the twin suns of Virilia Prime, a human soldier who had bled for an alien princess became a hero, a protector and a legend, bound not by law, but by honor, trust, and the undeniable power of humanity.